So, Jim's question. Are you familiar with how to read a military leave and earnings statement, LES? Jim was trying to assess a borrower who appears to receive a base housing allowance, and they're looking at the year-end LES. And when reconciling to the W-2, the wages matched, but they were afraid they were perhaps missing some of the other income, like housing allowance. Well, I'd actually never seen an LES until Jim asked this question, but I did a little sleuthing. And yes, it appears to me that the basic housing allowance definitely is not taxable, so it is totally appropriate to add this to cash flow if you believe their service is recurring and continuing. So just a little background on that housing allowance. It's based on rank. It's also based on whether or not there are dependents, but not on how many. And it's based on the typical rents in the area that they are living in. So while rank and therefore the dollar amount of wages does have an impact, it's not the only impact. Now, the Truth in Lending Act weighs in. Appendix Q, paragraph C, covers military, government agency, and assistant program income. And for military income, it indicates military personnel not only receive base pay, but they oftentimes are entitled to additional pay. And this could be variable housing allowance, clothing allowance, flight or hazard pay, rations, and proficiency pay. These types of additional pay are acceptable, they say, when analyzing the consumer's income, as long as the probability of such pay to continue is verified in writing. And then they also go on to mention the tax-exempt nature may need to be considered. So some of you, your calculations allow you to gross up tax-exempt or do something of that nature, so be aware these are tax-exempt, they're not paying taxes, so it might give them more boost than taxable income does. Now, the VA loan requirement is just a little bit different. They'll let you include an LES as long as the LES itself is not more than 120 days old and confirmation that the service member is not within 12 months of release from active duty is obtained. So my conclusion, yeah, if you only use wages on the W-2, you may very well be missing a significant amount of military pay. So be sure your information is recent. Consider if it's continuing. You should be good to go.